Welcome to the Electoral Commission of Queensland's webinar about election funding claims. This webinar provides information for candidates and registered political parties participating in the 2024 state general election in Queensland. What is an election funding claim? An election funding claim is a claim for reimbursement of electoral expenditure incurred in relation to a state election. Who is eligible for election funding? If you are a candidate, you are entitled to claim election funding if you receive at least 4% of the formal first preference votes made in your electoral district. If you are a registered political party, you are entitled to claim election funding if any of your endorsed candidates received at least 4% of the formal first preference votes in their electoral district. How much election funding am I entitled to? If you are eligible to claim election funding, you will receive the lesser of the following: the election funding rate multiplied by each formal first preference vote received, or the amount of electoral expenditure that you claim that is accepted by the ECQ. For the 2024 state general election, the candidate rate is $3.33 for each formal first preference vote. For registered political parties, the rate is $6.66 for each formal first preference vote given to each eligible candidate. When do I have to lodge a claim? Election funding claims are due by the 17th of March 2025, within 20 weeks after Election Day. The ECQ encourages you to lodge as soon as possible after Election Day, as late lodgements will not be accepted. How do I lodge my election funding claim? You can submit a claim for election funding by lodging the appropriate form with the ECQ. These forms are available to download from our website. The ECQ prefers for an electronic copy of your claim to be provided via email. However, physical records are also acceptable. Please ensure to keep copies of your claim and any supporting documentation that you provide to the ECQ for your own records. What can I claim? Only electoral expenditure can be claimed for election funding. The definition of electoral expenditure for funding claim purposes has changed since the last state general election in 2020. Some items that were claimed in 2020 may not be claimed in 2024. Factsheet 25, Election Funding Claims, has a non-exhaustive list of what can and cannot be claimed as electoral expenditure for the 2024 state general election. Factsheet 7, Definition of Electoral Expenditure, has further details on how electoral expenditure is determined. These fact sheets are available on the ECQ website. Claimable expenditure must always be for a campaign purpose. Goods which are purchased for the intention of being resold as merchandise, for example to raise funds for a political party, are not considered to be for a campaign purpose when making an election funding claim. Can GST be included in my claim? If you or the entity that purchased the electoral expenditure is registered with the ATO for GST purposes, you may not include GST in your claim. What do I need to include in my claim? All electoral expenditure that you wish to claim must be itemised on the form. If you have completed the election summary return bulk upload template for your election summary return, you can attach the Excel template as the invoice schedule. You must attach a copy of all invoices and supporting documents. Tax invoices must be dated, show the recipient details, and include a description of the goods or services provided. If electoral expenditure is claimed for the production, distribution, publishing, or broadcasting of advertisements or election material, such as newspaper advertisements, flyers, or pamphlets, a copy of the advertisement or material must be included when submitting a claim form. All supporting documentation needs to be legible and clearly specify which item of expenditure it refers to. All items claimed must have a clear link to the election or an explanation how the item related to the election. How will I receive my election funding payment? An independent candidate's election funding payment will be deposited into the candidate state campaign bank account. A registered political party's election funding payment will be deposited into the party's state campaign bank account. An endorsed candidate's election funding payment will be deposited into the candidate state campaign bank account unless the candidate has directed the ECQ to make the payment to the registered political party. Payment directions are optional and can be made when providing the candidate state campaign bank account details to the ECQ. If you have any questions from this webinar or you'd like to know where you can go for more information, the ECQ has published a comprehensive range of fact sheets on our website, which you can find at www.ecq.qld.gov.au/fact sheets. You can also have a look at the legislation itself. The Electoral Act 1992 prescribes the requirements for election funding claims for state elections in Queensland. Or you can contact our Funding Disclosure and Compliance team by emailing fad@ecq.qld.gov.au or call us on 1300 881 665. The ECQ provides general advice only. Should you be in any doubt regarding your obligations for the election, please seek independent legal advice. Thank you very much for watching our webinar. We appreciate your time and hope that the information provided has been useful to you.